Being on the banks of Ganga any day of the year is a great blessing. And being on the banks of Ganga any day of the year is a time for newness. People come to these sacred waters, to this sacred land for transformation. The waters of Ganga are those that we bathe in any day of the year to let go of that which is keeping us stuck, that which is holding us back. When we talk about liberation, if you ask most people, what are they coming to bathe in waters of Ganga for? What people will say is, mujhko moksha milega. I will get moksha. Well, what does moksha mean? It means liberation. Now, Puja Swamiji always reminds us that's not about liberation after death. It's not that a bath in the waters of Mother Ganga or a prayer on the banks of Mother Ganga is going to free you of the body or is going to give you liberation only after you die. It's all about liberation from that which actually keeps us stuck while we are alive, which is all of that which I was speaking about in the Arti. Our egos, our attachments, our grudges, our competition, our jealousies, all of the little games that our mind plays. Interestingly, these are not very big things. That which keeps us stuck is never something very, very big. They're little workings of the mind, little games the mind plays. It's the why him and not me. It's the why did he talk to me like that? Why didn't she do what I want? After asking so many times, why can't they? Finally, just for God's sakes, do what I ask. Why can't these people or that person treat me differently? Why can't the weather or the stock market or the interest rates or whatever it may be, why can't it do what I want? And that's the stuff that works in our mind. Why am I not? Why do I not have? Why does this person? That's the stuff that plays in most people's minds. And sadly, that's actually the stuff that keeps us stuck. And so here on the banks of Ganga, any day of the year, we will say to you, let it go. Let it and be free. Let it go and reconnect with the truth of who you are. There's my favorite joke about that, which is the joke of the man who goes to the doctor. And he says to the doctor, "Doctor, there's something very wrong with me. Whatever I touch, it hurts. When I touch my head, it hurts. And I touch my back, it hurts. And I touch my stomach, it hurts." And the doctor's surprised and confused because usually people have just one ailment at a time. So he runs all of the scans and all of the tests, and he calls the man back in and says, "The good news is there's nothing wrong with your head or your stomach or your back. The bad news is your finger is broken. Since your finger is broken, whatever you touch, it hurts. But the problem isn't in the body. The problem is in the finger." And this is the same that happens to us, and the New Year is such a beautiful time to fix that. The man's finger, the bones of his finger were disconnected. Hence everything hurt. In our lives, we are disconnected. We are disconnected from the truth of who we are, from the fullness, from the wholeness, from the completeness of who we are. That's why we move through the world as beggars. Literally begging, this one should be nice to me. This one should pay me a compliment. This one should do what I want. This one should touch my feet. This one should bring me flowers. We are literally beggars. Why is that person mean to me? Why this person didn't invite me to their party? Why this? Why that? And something happens, we do get invited to the party. Someone's nice to us. We are on cloud 9. Again, like a beggar. Like somehow one person's invitation to a party or one person's compliment is enough to make us whole and complete. Lack of the invitation, lack of the compliment, lack of the praise somehow is enough to make us feel that we're not enough. When we connect with who we really are whole, we are complete, we are divine. We have been created, Puja Swamiji always says, not just by the Creator, but of the Creator. And so that which the Creator is, wholeness, divinity, consciousness, love, peace, perfection, all of that is who we are. So let this be a time of reconnecting. Most people tend to commit themselves to what they're going to collect. I'm going to collect a lot of more money. I'm going to collect a lot of jewels, or I'm going to collect a lot of invitations to parties, or I'll collect new clothes, I'll collect vacations, whatever it may be. I'll collect new certificates, I'll collect this, I'll collect that. But let us commit ourselves to connection rather than collection. Because if we're not connected, that's why our lives hurt. That's why I tell the joke of the man with the broken finger. As we move through the world disconnected from ourselves, our lives hurt. Depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, misery, general dis-ease. All of that stems from disconnection. It stems from me needing someone outside of myself or something outside of myself to make me feel full. When I'm connected, it's there. It's already there. It doesn't matter what comes. If you go to somebody's house for dinner, but you ate before you went, so you're stuffed full of food, doesn't matter what they give you. You like it, fine. You don't like it, fine. It's too sweet, fine. It's not sweet enough, fine. It's irrelevant because you're already full. But if you go to someone's house for dinner and you're starving, you haven't eaten since morning, you skipped lunch, you've been running all day, you've been really excited. Okay, I'm going to go to their house, achhi bhojan milega, have a good dinner. And then their food isn't good. That's when you have a problem. Because that's when you needed what they give you in order to feel full. So this New Year's, let us connect rather than collect. If you happen to collect as well, no problem. But let the commitment be to how can I connect in myself to the divine, to the truth of who I am, to all of creation. And that's something that actually 365 days from now, regardless of how many times you've gone to the gym, regardless of how many times you've lost weight and gained it and lost it and gained it and lost it and gained it again, regardless of what's happened in the stock market or your job, 2019 will have been really a new year for you. And the last point to mention before we take questions, we have some that have come in advance and we'll open it to any questions that anyone has. But the last point to mention is when Puja Swamiji says, new you. It's really important to remember that we're not talking about becoming something new. Those of us, particularly from the West, it's growing in India, but those of us from the West have it worse. We've got this ailment inside of feeling like there's something wrong with us. We're not enough. We're not smart enough. We're not rich enough. We're not talented enough. We're not funny enough. We're not popular enough. We're not, whatever it may be, we're not enough. And when you hear new you, it's really easy for us to latch on to that and say, I'm going to do just what she's saying and then I'll be enough. I'll meditate. I'll do this. And great, do it. By all means, start a practice of meditation if you don't have one. Increase it if you do have one. Commit yourself to a spiritual practice, but not in the idea that that's going to somehow make you enough. You are enough. Committing to that path is just so that you can know who you are. The new you is not about changing you from the inside. There is nothing wrong with you. To say there is anything wrong is to say that God has made a mistake, or that God somehow half-baked us and we have to do the rest. I remember when I would first go to America with Puja Swamiji, and he would see in magazines on airplanes so many advertisements for self-development programs. It was a very, very big thing in America. It's still big, but there was a phase where it was just huge. Everybody, self-development, self-development. And he used to laugh. He'd say, self-development? As though somehow God left the job half done? And it's up to us to, finish up God's job. We're not half-baked. The new you is not about become something new. It's about remove that which is not you, so that you can know who you really are. And especially for those of us from the West, that's a really important caveat, so that we don't latch on to it as yet another way to think that we're not quite right. And if I just do what she says and I just get up every day and meditate, then I will be worthy of occupying my place on planet Earth. No. Then you will know your worthiness of occupying your place on planet Earth. Then you will know that there actually is no place you end and planet Earth begins. You'll know there's no place you end and the universe begins. And that is why we get on this path.